Have you ever dominated a workout one day and then the very next day you feel like a shell of yourself? Tired, unmotivated, every rep feels like a struggle. The truth is that both of these days are equally as powerful. These are the polarities of training, and both poles, both ends of the spectrum are actually pushing you forward. Once you understand the principle of polarity, your approach to training is going to change forever. So Hermetic teachings say that everything is dual. Everything has a pair of poles. In training, we see this consistently: strength and weakness, motivation and resistance, progress and plateaus, excitement of hitting the PR one day, and then the disappointment of failing on a set that's normally just an average working set for you. The thing is that all these poles are not separate, they're actually connected. They're just two ends on the same spectrum. And it's your job to move forward on the spectrum and not judge where you are on that spectrum on a day-to-day basis. You're not your PR day, and you're definitely not your weakest day. You're somewhere in between. Every pull up, every push up, every dip, every squat, it's just a shift along the scale of strength. And even weakness in our weekdays are useful because it can show us where we need to clean up our form, or it can show up where we need to put a little bit of extra time in. And really, the biggest asset of having an off day, or having a day where we feel sluggish, or having a day where we feel weak, is that it actually helps us out on the other end of the spectrum mentally. It actually builds a lot of mental toughness. So let's talk about those rough days. The days where your body feels heavy, your mind feels foggy, and your willpower is literally just hanging on by a thread. Most people think this workout is terrible. I'm making no progress. I might as well just stop. But in all reality, you're actually probably making more progress than on your best day when you're hitting PRs. And the reason why is because of the mental strength that it takes to push through these type of workouts. You're not just training your body, you're actually training your mind, body, and spirit. And that inner discipline, that inner transformation, this is actually what builds the external transformation and what shapes that external physique. And another thing about these opposite poles is that growth actually lives somewhere in between them. You can't just go out there and be like, I want to struggle every single day. And you can't go out there and think that hitting PRs every day is the only route to success, or the only route to ending up where you want to get to on your journey. It's actually just like the physical sensation that we get from training. We can go through a training session, and when we're really working, our muscles are burning. When we feel this pain momentarily, we know that something's happening. When you feel that burn in your muscle, you're like, okay, I know my muscles are working right now. So I know that there's a change coming. So that pain that you feel from your muscles burning, and the pleasure that you feel from actually getting those results, that growth is somewhere in between there. You get what I'm saying? If you can embrace that pain, if you can embrace the burn that you get from pushing your muscles to the max, then you're going to be able to feel that breakthrough as well. And that breakthrough is going to feel really good. So you have to think about it like after a super hard workout or after a long run, our mind and body end up getting a hit of dopamine. And by getting that dopamine hit, we feel accomplished. So the next two poles I want to talk about are very important ones, and that's effort and recovery. We live in a grind harder society, and society and social media often only glorifies the grind, and it doesn't necessarily speak to the recovery aspect of the grind. But all grind with no recovery leads to burnout. So if you push and you never pause, you never take a time to catch your breath, you never take a time to let your muscles recover, you're going to fatigue so much that you end up burning out into a flame. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you pause and never push yourself, or if you are constantly in that state of relaxation and you never push yourself, you're just going to fade out. But when you respect both poles, you'll find your rhythm. And that rhythm that you find is super powerful. So, next, let's actually talk about the mental aspect of this. Let's talk about the mental struggles versus when we have complete mental clarity. And this actually works not just with fitness, this just works with life in general. So your mind swings just like your body. Just like one day you might feel super fresh and powerful that you can go run 15 miles, and the next day that you feel that, you're so tired and you're so low energy, it's going to be a struggle just to run 3 miles. your mind works the exact same way. Some days you're going to be locked in, some days you're going to be super confident, and other days your mind's going to be scattered and you're going to feel extremely doubtful and your confidence is going to be wavering. But the law of polarity reminds us that neither one of these sides of the spectrum is actually us. We're actually somewhere in the middle and we're in that growth process. You can shift from chaos to clarity, just like you can shift from fatigue to being extremely energetic. It just takes adding in some rest and recovery. That could be physical rest and recovery, or it could be mental rest and recovery. For myself personally, I mentioned this on the channel before, and I'm about to be 40 years old very soon. I'm gonna be 40 years old in 3 months. And the way that I used to push my body, along these last 8, 9 years of my training career or my training journey, honestly, I just have to accept the fact that I need to have a little bit more recovery. And what I've been doing of late, you guys know I'm famous for saying 7 days per week mentality and how we should be pushing 7 days per week. I got to be honest with you guys. I've scaled back on that, and this has been a learning curve for me. But what I've been doing of late, and what I mean of late, like the last 3 or 4 months, is that I've actually been taking one day off and one day off completely. And what I mean by one day off, I mean, I'm not even pushing to even get steps in. I want my mind to be completely rested. I don't even want to do any type of productive activities on the computer. I don't want to do any scheduling. I don't want to do anything when it comes down to my business. I don't want to work out. The only thing I might do is a little bit of mobility, and mobility meaning like stretching around the house while I'm watching TV or maybe watching a boxing match or whatever it may be, or watching some YouTube content or whatever. And that's just because stretching kind of goes along with recovery. That's kind of active recovery in itself. So again, we need to rest our mind and we need to rest our body. I prefer to do that all in one day, just so I can have the other 6 days of the week to be super productive and push as hard as possible. Next, let's talk about plateaus. So think about it like this. Every plateau is the silent partner of your next breakthrough. You have to think about plateaus as where your body and your mind recalibrates. This is where you mentally get tested. And if you hold steady, the shift to the other pole is inevitable. And for me personally, I find that every time I break through a plateau, I immediately start hitting one PR after another. I might have been working on two separate calisthenic skills at once. I end up mastering both of those calisthenic skills, and then there might be another skill that goes along with that skill that I'm able to accomplish super quick, and my progress is rapid after I break through a plateau. And then after I break through a plateau, it's just about keeping that momentum as long as possible, because eventually you're going to end up hitting another plateau, and eventually you're going to have to stay true to the process and stay steady and break through that plateau as well. So lastly, let's talk about something super important, and that is that polarity creates perspective. You can't know strength without once knowing weakness. You can't be strong without previously being a weaker version of yourself. You can't appreciate mental clarity unless you fought through brain fog or mental fog at some point in your life. And if you're somebody who's confident, your confidence means way more if you're somebody who has been doubtful or maybe have had low self-esteem in the past or had to overcome some type of mental struggle to build up your self-esteem. So all in all, polarity creates perspective. It actually gives us meaning to this journey that we're on. Without struggle, there's no triumph. Without failure, progress really doesn't have that much flavor. Without those newbie days when your arms are shaking and you don't really have that much stability and you're not going full range of motion, that first clean full range of motion rep is not going to hit the same. And those blood, sweat, and tears that you accumulate over this journey, over this training journey, over this growth journey, those aren't hindering you from your strength and your success. Those are actually the very reason that you became strong in the first place. Your fitness journey is not a battle between good days and bad days. It's actually a dance in between these two opposite poles. Every workout, good or bad, moves you and pushes you forward. Every rep, every rest, every rough day is a part of the same wave of transformation. The law of polarity reminds us you don't grow by escaping your lows, you grow by transmuting those lows into highs. So the next time that you want to skip out on a workout because you feel low energy or because you feel weak, you got to just remember that's the other side of strength that's pushing you forward. You're not off track, you're actually just on the edge of the next level. Now, if you guys are trying to get to the next level and you guys are looking to elevate your fitness and growth journey to the next level, go to my website. I've got a 90-day program on there. It's a hybrid athlete program. That means hybrid training of endurance, strength, calisthenics, athletic training, mobility. It's all in there. And it's going to definitely take you to elite levels if you finish that 90-day program through and through. Now, if you're a beginner on this fitness journey and you guys are, let's just say, trying to achieve your first pull up or you're trying to get proficient at pull ups, I actually have a free program on my website. You can go to the link in the description box below. It's a 12-week pull up program that will take you step by step into mastering the pull up. And once you master that pull up, in my opinion, that is the king of body weight exercises. The sky's the limit for your fitness journey. But anyways, guys, I hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.